Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We are going to be painting a dramatic landscape, or not really landscape since it's in portrait position, but you get my gist here. Let's start with the background. So this is kind of going to be one of those paintings where we just keep piling on more color while everything is still wet. So you do want to work quickly, or if you have cotton paper, that's going to help dramatically, but definitely not a requirement. So we're going to start off with like a baby blue color at the top. Just applying that. And I'm going to switch. First I'm going to just kind of water this down a little bit, so that it doesn't dry very harshly. And then I'm going to grab like a skin tone, or sorry, a nude color, I should say. That's going to go, oh, my blue is a little bit warping the color. And I'm going to switch that into yellow. And we want to leave a little circle for our sun at the bottom here. Whatever, I just went over that yellow, or that nude color, whatever. I'm going to kind of turn this into a little bit of an orange. And I'm going to go upwards with this orange. Nice and intense. Turn that back into a yellow here. And then a nude. And then I'm going to blend these guys together. So we want to keep that blue nice and wet. We want to keep the entire background wet. So it might be easier to apply just a wash of water before you start applying the color, because that might keep things a little bit more consistently wet. So I'm just gonna apply another layer of water. Just gonna bring that all the way down. And then start it all the way up the blue. So hopefully that is all nicely watered. Okay. So, gotta work quick. Oh my gosh, what did I just do? We gotta work quickly. So I'm gonna start off by taking orange. Quite a bit of orange, not very much water, just very intense orange. And we're gonna apply it to the kind of orange yellowy part. We're gonna be basically painting on these clouds. So you want to start on the edges of your paper and then just kind of create these rough cloud shapes. Allow that color to spread out naturally. You can even use red, mix a little bit of red into that orange if you'd like, just to differentiate from the background color. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add just a tad bit of red to my orange. As I'm painting on my clouds. So mine was a little bit too wet. You can see this stringy thing happening, but whatever, we can't do anything about that now. So painting on my clouds into the blue a little bit. Sort of like that. And then I'm gonna pick up a very intense blue mixed with black if you wish, or even just purple, and I'm gonna apply that to the top. There is a lot of water on mine, which is making this a little bit more difficult. Too much water is not good either. So we're just creating some cloudy effects at the top with the blue. Now my orange spread out so much here. That is not good. We don't want that at all. So I am picking up more orange here. I'm trying not to water it down too much. And I'm gonna apply it orange with my red, that combo color, and try and remedy this situation, because that is, like, we do want it to look like there's clouds, not these blobs that have spread out into nothing really. So maybe don't make yours as wet as I did. I think I went a little overboard. Now, what we want to do is start adding like the features to these clouds that are going to make this very dramatic looking in the first place. I'm going to switch brushes to one that is not tainted by color. And I'm just going to try and blend that sun out a little bit so that it's not such a harsh circle. So I'm picking up paint, drawing my paintbrush on a paper towel, and then going back. So, you know, I'm just waiting for my clouds to dry a little bit. Oh no, I had paint on my finger when I did that. So, oh sorry, that wasn't even on the screen, part of it. Okay, well, I'm just gonna leave that before I make it worse. So I'm gonna take that, I'm gonna take purple now. Trying not to pick up too much water. And we're gonna go over top of the orange. So we're concentrating that purple over top the orange. Trying to add that dramatic element to our painting. You can add some little dots here and there just to add some uniqueness. And so you can just keep dropping that purple in until you're happy with the intensity of it, because it is going to spread out, especially if you have as much water on there as I do. And you want to do the same thing to that blue portion, but you don't want to use purple, rather you want to use black. I mean, you could use purple. I have so much water up there, unfortunately. So we're just doing the same thing that we did with the purple up here. I'm trying to let this dry a little bit. So I've picked up a little bit more purple, and I'm just dropping it on there on top, the top portion of the orange. So that purple took over way too much. I went too crazy with the purple. So I'm gonna pick up the orange again and drop it back on top of the purple. So I'm going to stop here before I do any more damage. I guess the big learning portion of this entire thing is do not put too much water on there, because that will certainly influence your painting to a degree. And I'm trying to prevent the cauliflowering here, but man, I just made it worse. The only way to prevent it is just to extend the water all the way to the bottom of your page. That's the only way at this point. But then it cauliflowers here if you don't add water here. So you're kind of in a lose-lose situation until you re-water the entire painting. Because it's doing the same thing over here. So again, I have to extend that water all the way down. So hopefully I fixed that. Hopefully it doesn't spread anymore. So let's just let this totally dry and then we'll come back and see where we're at. Okay, so it appears the background is dry. It was spared from the cauliflowering mostly. So good news there. Now, I mean, you can leave your, like this can be your painting if you want it to be, but I'm gonna add some detail like foliage or some sort of thing on top, like trees maybe. What should I put on top there? It's going to be black. It's going to be a black silhouette, but I'm just trying to decide, you know, what exactly we want to put here. I think I'm going to have just a giant tree coming up. It's gonna have, oh no, it's still wet down here. No, no, no. The reason why I really don't like putting tape around the sides is because it sticks to the darn thing. Okay, I'm gonna just suck that back up and I'm gonna wait for that to dry so that it doesn't spread more, and then we're just gonna have a much thicker trunk. All right, guys, make sure your painting is totally dry, because I thought mine was, and I started painting a silhouette of something and it spread. You don't want that. So please, please make sure it's dry for your own sanity. So I'm painting a tree here. Now it's dry. So my tree is just going to be a very large tree that goes all the way up like that. I do want it to be blacker than that because I want it to stand out, so I'm just going over it again with more pigment, less water. I'm going to switch to my size 1 brush because it's starting to, the one I was using, the size 8, was a little too big for the details that I wanted to paint. So tomorrow I have to go to the city. For those that don't know, new viewers or whatnot, I live in a pretty rural little place. The closest town to us has 500 full-time residents. So I have an appointment in the city tomorrow, and because my husband and I share a car, I have to, you know, go with him because he works in the city. And I have to spend the whole day there waiting for him to finish work. So I have this elaborate plan where I'm pre-painting, like I'm just painting a lot of tutorials, and I'm gonna go to the library in the city and spend the entire day just editing these videos. So that way, because I had to do this about a month ago. I had an appointment in the city, same thing. I had to go with my husband, and that was a pretty boring day. Like, I'd filled it, I did things, but a lot of the things were, you know, not things that I would typically do. I tried going to a thrift store, because for those that know me in my personal life, not very many of you, but my clothing is, I just don't care about clothes. So I'm wearing clothes that I wore I honestly still own sweaters that I regularly wear from grade 8. So that was, gosh, I don't know, 16 years ago. I have very old clothing that I still wear. I don't care what it looks like. So I tried a thrift store, you know, to try and spruce things up. I went in there, I spent 10 minutes picking out pants, and then I realized they don't have a change room. So I just put it all back and left. And that was very boring. So my shopping trip, my attempt to look a little more fashionable, failed. I like how this tree looks. Usually my deciduous trees are a little bit too branchy, but this one's got a good mix. I like it. Okay, I'm gonna have some shrubbery down at the bottom here because there's a reason the sun is here. So I'm gonna just paint some whatever you want it to be. I'm just kind of angling my brush sideways and dabbing. Like that. I'm gonna switch actually to a bigger brush, size 8, but like any bigger brush, it doesn't matter. And I want to just cover a larger portion. So this is actually going to turn into, like, it's going to become lighter around the sun here. So I just use the black as I'm approaching the sun. And then I'm going to switch to orange. On both sides. Just want to make sure I blend it in really nice. And then yellow. The same thing, I'm just kind of doing that pattern, that dotting pattern all the way around the sun. So my camera just turned off because I am out of memory. So I'm sorry if you didn't catch that last part. But all I'm doing is just, I'm painting a smaller tree on this side. Just want to add some sort of counterbalance on the left side, since this tree is so big on the right. Okay, so I think I'm okay with the way that turned out. I was a little worried in the beginning about our sky, but it actually ended up looking really nice in my opinion, especially with the silhouettes kind of covering up some of the, taking some of the spotlight away from the blemishes. But that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe, hit like on this video, and I will see you in the next one. But before we do that, I'm going to peel this tape off. Voila! Revealing a beautiful painting. Thanks for watching, guys.